feeling like you're on a financial roller coaster you didn't exactly sign up for.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way.
You're definitely not alone. But what if I told you that taking control, really owning your money, is totally within reach? Especially if you're a young woman looking to build, real freedom and stability.
Exactly. That's our focus today.
We're diving deep.
We are. Right into the core of mastering your finances. How you earn, how you spend, how you invest, and ultimately how you build wealth that lasts.
Think of it as your personal roadmap, really.
A blueprint for financial empowerment, starting right now. Simple steps.
And let's be honest, for so many of us, especially women, money talk wasn't a regular thing growing up, right?
Not at all. It can feel complicated, maybe even a bit scary.
Yeah, daunting. So our goal in this deep dive is just to simplify it. Break it down into clear, actionable steps, things you can actually do.
So you can feel confident, feel like you're in the driver's seat.
Because ultimately, this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet.
No, it's about feeling financially secure, having the tools you need to make smart moves.
Strategic moves, yeah. The kind that lead to genuine freedom and, long-term stability.
So where do we start? What's step one?
Okay, let's unpack this. The very first step, and it's crucial, is getting a really clear-eyed view of where you stand right now.
Facing reality, basically.
Exactly. Think of it as a financial lay of the land. No sugarcoating allowed.
What we're talking about here is a financial audit. Sounds a bit formal, maybe.
A little bit, yeah.
But it's really just about getting the complete picture. Simple as that.
So what does that actually involve?
It means writing down all your income sources, everything coming in.
Okay.
Then every single debt you owe, student loans, credit cards, car payments, the lot.
Got to face those numbers.
You do. And then tracking exactly where your money is actually going. Your spending.
Ah, the spending part. That can be eye-opening.
Definitely. But you can't build a solid foundation without knowing what you're starting with.
Right.
You need that baseline.
It's like trying to navigate without a map, isn't it? You just don't know where you are.
Precisely. You need your coordinates.
Understanding the full picture, the income, the debts, where every dollar or, pound or euro is actually being spent, it's absolutely essential before you can move forward.
Right. Once you have that clear snapshot, that you are here marker, the next logical step is creating a plan for your money. And that's where budgeting comes in.
Okay, the B word. A lot of people hear budget and immediately think restriction. Like, oh no, I can't have any fun.
Yeah, it gets a bad rap. But it's not really about restriction. It's actually about making conscious choices.
Directing your money where you want it to go.
Exactly. Where it matters most to you. Giving every dollar a job.
And to keep things, manageable and straightforward, we're going to talk about the 50-30-20 method. Have you heard of this?
I have, yeah. It's a really popular and simple framework. Good starting point.
So how does it break down?
Okay, so 50%, half of your after-tax income goes towards your essentials.
Your needs.
Your absolute needs. Non-negotiables like housing rent or mortgage, groceries, transportation, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments, things you absolutely have to cover.
Got it. The must-haves. What about the next chunk?
Then 30% is allocated for your wants.
Okay, this is the fun stuff.
This is the fun stuff. Well, the lifestyle stuff. Dining out, entertainment, shopping, hobbies, travel, subscriptions you enjoy but don't technically need.
It's important to have room for that too, right? It makes the whole thing sustainable.
Absolutely. Life needs enjoyment. But being mindful of this category, knowing it's 30%, gives you real control. You decide what fits.
And the last 20%. This feels important.
It is. This is crucial. The final 20% is for your financial goals, primarily savings and investments.
So paying yourself first, essentially.
Exactly. This is the money that's actively working for your future. Building that emergency fund.
We should definitely talk about high-yield savings accounts for that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Putting money into a high-yield account so it actually earns a bit more interest while it sits there for emergencies.
Good point. What else in the 20%?
Paying off debt above the minimum payments, saving for big goals like a down payment, and crucially, investing for long-term growth.
So this method, 50-30-20, it's really about finding that balance.
It is. A balance between your current needs and wants and your future aspirations and security.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's talk about something that can really feel like a huge roadblock for people. Debt.
Ugh, yes. Debt. It can be a real burden, a weight.
It really can. And tackling it head on feels like a major step towards actual financial freedom.
It absolutely is. Ruthlessly eliminating debt, especially the high-interest kind, is key. Think of it like this. Every dollar you pay towards debt frees up your future income.
That's a powerful way to put it. So what's the strategy? Just attack it all at once.
Well, a really effective strategy, often called the avalanche method, is to prioritize paying off your high-interest debt first.
Why high interest first?
Because those are the debts where interest is piling up the fastest. They're costing you the most money over time thanks to compound interest working against you.
Right. So things like credit cards often have really high rates.
Typically, yes, those often fall into that high interest category. So you make the minimum payments on everything else, but throw every extra penny you can find at that highest interest debt until it's gone.
Okay. And once that's paid off.
Then you take the money you were paying on that debt and add it to the minimum payment of the next highest interest debt. Creates a snowball effect, or rather an avalanche.
Gotcha. And then you move down the list to lower interest ones, like maybe student loans or a car loan.
Exactly. Tackling those expensive debts first saves you money in the long run. But honestly, even small wins, like paying off one small debt completely, that can create huge momentum and keep you motivated.
Yeah, I can see that. That feeling of progress.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And another way to really solidify your financial progress, almost put it on autopilot, is automation.
Automating savings and investments.
Yes, it's incredibly powerful. It takes the decision-making out of it, removes the temptation to spend the money elsewhere.
Set it and forget it, kind of.
Pretty much. It helps you build wealth consistently over time, almost without thinking about it.
So practically, how do you do that?
You set up automatic transfers. From your main checking account, schedule regular transfers into your savings accounts.
And like we mentioned, using a high-yield savings account for your emergency fund is smart.
Absolutely. Make sure that safety net money is at least earning some interest. It keeps pace better with inflation that way compared to a standard savings account. These accounts just operate differently, often online only, lower overhead.
Right, which lets them offer better rates.
Exactly. And the same principle, automation, applies beautifully to investing.
Okay, talk about that.
Set up automatic transfers or automatic investments directly into your investment accounts.
So deciding beforehand, like every payday, X amount goes into my investment account.
Precisely. Whether you're choosing index funds, which are great because they track a whole market section like the S&P 500, offering instant diversification.
Low fees usually too.
Very low fees, typically. Or exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which are similar like baskets of stocks or bonds, but they trade like individual stocks on an exchange.
Making them easy to buy and sell.
Very accessible. Automating this ensures you're consistently putting your money to work for the long term, benefiting from dollar cost averaging and compound growth over years.
Okay, so we've covered understanding your situation, budgeting, tackling debt, automating savings and investments. That feels like a solid foundation.
It is, but there's another really important lever you can pull to accelerate your journey.
Which is?
Strategically increasing your income.
The other side of the equation. Earning more.
Precisely. Growing your earning potential gives you so many more options. It lets you reach your financial goals that much faster.
Makes sense. The more you earn, the more you potentially have available to save, invest, pay off debt quicker.
Build the life you actually want. It often requires a bit of a mindset shift, too. Recognizing your value, looking for opportunities.
Now, what does that look like in practice? Asking for a raise.
That's definitely one way. But it can also mean acquiring new high-income skills.
Okay, like what?
Think about skills that are really in demand right now. Digital marketing, copywriting, writing persuasive sales text coding, web design, graphic design.
Skills you can learn online, often.
Often, yes. Or through specialized courses. Getting skills like that can significantly boost your earning power. It might lead to a better job, a promotion, or even the ability to start a side hustle or freelance work.
Setting your own rates, potentially.
Exactly. It's about investing in yourself, in your earning capacity.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, to really bring all these pieces together, the budgeting, the debt, the investing, the earning. Let's talk about a real-world example. We found this story about someone named Natalie R.
Yes, Natalie's story. It's really relatable, I think, for a lot of people starting out.
Totally. So Natalie was 26, had what most people would consider a decent income, but she constantly felt broke, just scraping by.
Sound familiar? I think many people can identify with that feeling.
Absolutely. High rent, student loans breathing down her neck, trying to have a social life.
Yeah.
It all just added up. And the money seemed to disappear.
Yeah, that constant financial stress, it takes a toll. So she decided she'd had enough and needed to take charge.
What was her first move?
Her first step was that audit we talked about, getting brutally honest with herself. She tracked every single dollar she spent for 2 whole months.
Wow, that takes discipline.
It does.
Yeah.
But it gave her a super clear, maybe even slightly shocking picture of her actual spending habits,
Yep.
where the money was really going.
Okay, so armed with that knowledge.
From there, she created a realistic budget. And she used that 50-30-20 method we just discussed.
Putting it into practice.
Exactly. It helped her visualize things, see where her money should go versus where it was going, and identify areas to cut back or realign with her actual priorities.
Did she just focus on cutting back?
No, and that's key. She didn't just stop at budgeting. She proactively researched salaries for her role and successfully negotiated a raise at her job.
Nice. That's tackling the income side.
Right. And she actively looked for ways to trim unnecessary expenses, maybe packed lunches more, reviewed subscriptions, and she developed a serious plan to aggressively pay down her debt.
Using that high interest first method.
Yep, starting with her highest interest rate credit card. Attack mode.
Oh, budget raise, expense cuts, debt attack. What about investing?
That was the final piece for her. She started small, but consistently. She set up an automatic investment of a fixed amount each month into a low-cost ETF.
Like we were saying, an ETF is a type of index fund that trades like a stock.
Exactly. Super accessible, diversified, low cost. A great way for beginners to get into the market without needing a ton of cash up front or deep stock picking knowledge.
So what was the result for Natalie? How long did this take?
Well, what's really encouraging is the time frame. In just 18 months, a year and a half, she went from feeling constantly stressed and broke to being completely debt-free. She paid it all off. Plus, she'd built up a solid emergency fund and a high-yield savings account, and she had a growing investment portfolio.
Wow, 18 months. That's pretty amazing progress.
It really is. It shows what's possible with focus and a clear plan.
And did she have like a key takeaway from that whole experience?
She did, and it's powerful. She basically said, master money early or it'll master you.
Oof, yeah. That really hits home. Master money early or it'll master you.
It really sticks with you, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
So, inspired by Natalie, maybe, what are some things listeners can do, like right now, some quick wins to build momentum?
Great idea. Okay, 3 quick financial wins you could potentially aim for today or this week.
Let's hear them.
First, take 5 minutes, look at your bank or credit card statement, and find just one recurring subscription you don't really use or need anymore.
We all have them. That streaming service you forgot about, the app trial that auto-renewed.
Exactly. Cancel it. Just one. It's immediate savings, money straight back into your potential savings or debt paydown pool. Boom. Win number 1.
Okay, easy enough. What's number 2?
Second, if you don't already have one, take 10-15 minutes online and open a high-yield savings account.
We keep mentioning these for a reason.
We do. It's such a simple way to make sure your emergency fund or any cash you're saving for short-term goals is actually earning significantly more interest than it likely is in a traditional savings account. Compare the rates, the difference can be substantial.
Good point. Maximize that safe money. Okay, number 3.
And third, take that first step into investing no matter how small. Set up an automatic investment.
Like Natalie did.
Just like Natalie. Even if it's just, say, $50 or $100 a month, whatever feels manageable, going automatically into a broad market, low-cost ETF or index fund.
Consistency over amount, especially at first.
Absolutely. The consistency over time is what builds real wealth through compounding. And remember, many brokerage platforms now offer fractional shares.
Right. So you don't need hundreds of dollars to buy one expensive share. You can buy, like, $50 worth.
Exactly. It makes starting accessible to pretty much everyone. So cancel a subscription, open a high-yield account, automate a small investment. 3 quick wins.
Love it. That feels doable. And to take it even further.
Yes. We want to really encourage you to put all this into practice with our Money Master Week challenge.
Okay, a challenge? What does it involve?
It's a 3-part challenge designed to kickstart your journey.
Part 1.
Part 1. Complete your own personal financial audit this week, just like Natalie did. Take the time, sit down, write down your income, list all your debts, and track your expenses for at least a week, maybe 2, to get that crystal clear picture.
Know your numbers.
Yeah.
Got it. Part 2.
Second, using those numbers, create a realistic budget for yourself. Try that 50-30-20 framework we talked about as a starting point. And then, crucially, start implementing it right away. Track your spending against the budget. Make conscious choices.
Okay, audit then budget. What's the final part?
And finally, part 3. Take one concrete step, however small, towards increasing your income potential.
Ooh, action on the earnings side, too.
Yes. This could be anything from spending an hour researching in-demand skills in your field or enrolling in a free introductory online course for a new skill.
Or maybe drafting an email to pitch a freelance gig.
Perfect. Or even just outlining the points you'd make when asking for a raise at your next performance review. Just one tangible step forward.
Audit, budget increase. ABI Money Master Week.
Exactly. Taking these initial actions might feel a bit challenging, maybe uncomfortable at first.
Facing the numbers can be, yeah.
It can. But remember, gaining control over your finances isn't just about money. It's a fundamental step towards unlocking so much more freedom and opportunity in, well, pretty much all aspects of your life.
So true. Speaking of challenges, we actually got a fantastic question related to this from a listener, Tasha in Seattle.
Oh, great. What did Tasha ask?
She asked basically, this all sounds good, but how do I actually start investing if I really don't have much extra money to begin with?
Yes. The I don't have enough money to invest hurdle. It's such a common feeling and a really important question.
And what's the answer?
The great news is you absolutely 100% can start small. You don't need a windfall or a huge salary to begin investing.
Like we saw with Natalie, starting with a regular fixed amount.
Exactly. Even putting aside a really modest amount, like maybe $20 or $50 from each paycheck, into a low-cost ETF or index fund is a fantastic starting point.
It's not about the amount initially, is it?
Not primarily. Investing, especially for beginners, isn't about hitting home runs or making huge risky bets right out of the gate. It's about building the habit, the consistent habit of putting your money to work over the long term.
Getting started is the key.
Getting started and staying consistent. And like we touched on earlier, the technology today makes it so much easier.
The fractional shares thing.
The fractional shares, exactly. Apps and online brokerages like Robinhood, Fidelity, Vanguard, Charles Schwab, many of them allow you to buy small portions, small slices of stocks or ETFs.
So you don't need, say, $300 to buy one share of a popular ETF. You can just buy $20 worth of it.
Precisely. It removes that barrier to entry. So, Tasha and anyone else wondering, the most important thing is simply to start. Pick an amount you genuinely won't miss too much right now, automate it if possible, and build that habit of regular investing. Even small amounts add up significantly over time thanks to compounding.
Great advice. Start small, be consistent.
That's the mantra.
So, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, it feels important to circle back to the why. Why go through all this? The audit, the budget, tackling debt, learning to invest.
Right. And the ultimate goal here, remember, isn't just about, piling up a massive hoard of cash like Scrooge McDuck.
Though a money bin swim might be fun.
Maybe. But seriously, it's about achieving genuine financial freedom.
And what does that mean, really?
It means having choices. It means having control over your life's direction, not feeling like your decisions are dictated solely by money or lack thereof.
Yeah, that makes sense. Freedom to choose your work, maybe freedom to travel, freedom to handle emergencies without panic.
Exactly. Mastering your money, especially early in life, like Natalie aimed to do, it just opens up so many possibilities down the line. It builds a foundation.
A strong financial foundation that lets you pursue your passions, your goals.
Navigate those unexpected curveballs life inevitably throws at you with more ease.
And ultimately, yeah, live life more on your own terms.
That's the core of it. And the big takeaway, if there's one thing to really hold on to from our chat today, it's the fundamental importance of financial literacy. Just understanding this stuff.
It's empowering.
It's incredibly empowering, taking active control of your finances, learning how it all works. It's not just a practical skill, it changes how you feel, your confidence.
So the final thought maybe is,
respect your money. Learn how to manage it effectively, make it work for you. And in return, that money, that financial control, it becomes a tool that respects and empowers you. It works both ways.